found the gold, gold mine, but I'm standing outside. I want to get in, but I'm standing outside. So that's my feeling, and I'm reflecting on emotion or devotion, and I think there is emotion in devotion, not sentimental, but in devotion, it's plenty of devotion. Emotion, I mean, yes. That's something I reflect on. And Nityananda, I have also reflected on his name. Kriparam is a beautiful name.
What did you say?
Kriparam.
Kriparam?
Yeah, another name for Nityananda. It's so beautiful, I think.
I can't understand what you're saying. Could you put that in the chat? Kriparam, you're saying?
Yes, Kriparam is happy to give mercy. Its meaning.
Oh, do you know how to type that in the chat? Because I can't quite
Also,
catch the.
I will
He
try.
in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Kaviraj Goswami describes him as Kripa Avatar, as the avatar of mercy. So he's definitely
Okay.
known in that way, but I can't hear the exact word you're saying.
He's saying
Kriparam.
Kripa Ram. He's saying Kripa Ram.
Yes.
Kripa Ram. Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
heard that before. Okay.
Thank you.
Um, so what were you saying about Nityananda Prabhu?
I was just reflecting on his beautiful name.
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
And his Kriparam.
hmm,
Happy to give mercy.
hmm, hmm.
So
Beautiful. Well, when I started this meeting, I was really thinking, oh, it'd be really nice to talk about Mahaprabhu. So, that is very wonderful that you've brought that very topic up. So the golden volcano of divine love you mentioned,
yes, yes.
and you mentioned Nityananda Prabhu and his merciful nature. And what was the other thing you said in between? There was a second point.
I found a gold mine, gold, and I'm standing outside, and I want to enter, but I don't know how to enter.
But there was another thing you mentioned too.
Emotion in
Oh, that's right.
devotion.
Emotion in devotion. Right, right. Okay, okay. Well, we've got lots of juicy topics. Lots of juicy topics. Srila Gurudev, he says that Hari Katha, talks of the Lord. We should feel like, just like on a festival day, um, you go to the temple for the Sunday program or some special day, and you go and it's time for prasadam, and there's this wonderful plate with three different types of delicious sabjis and chutney and pakoras and puris and sweets, and there's so much excitement and anticipation, so many different flavors, so many different sensations and textures. So Gurudev said that we want to have this type of feeling about Harikatha, right? It's a rich, layered, tasty, juicy experience. So if we can feel that type of appreciation for hearing about topics and also hear about them from someone who can deliver them in a way that is conveying their vital nature, right? Then we are fortunate. Then we are fortunate. In Kapila Dev, right? Lord Kapila Dev, when his mother asks him, Devahuti is his mother, and she asks him, what's the best way by which I can make advancement? And there's this famous verse that he gives, speaking about the value of sadhu sangha. But he mentions there that the talks that they give, the glorification that they make of the Lord, it's alive, it's rich, it's not lip deep, not superficial, but it has some vitality and potency behind it, right? So anyhow, I don't know how well I can convey these topics, but the topics themselves are very glorious, right? And if we can discuss them with faith, even though we may be unqualified, by the very nature of these talks, we may still be purified and uplifted by them. So that is our good fortune. So golden volcano of divine love. Yeah. And that sentiment that you've expressed, Kirtida, I mean, what can I say? I think that's perfect, that I think that's something of how we all want to feel, that in a healthy, wholesome way, that we're getting some touch, some peep into something so beautiful, but also feeling that we're very far from that. It's very attractive, irresistibly attractive and charming to our hearts. And we also feel the reality that is there. But we also feel, oh, but, I'm not there. I'm not there. And I think that's a very healthy and wholesome feeling to have. So what can we do? The path of surrender, seva, sadhu sangha, that is our way forward, right? We want to try to offer ourselves to those pastimes. We want to try to offer ourselves to serve those pastimes, to serve that Leela, to serve the Lord and his associates. That is our path forward, right? That is how we can connect in an authentic way. And we were discussing recently, I think, in our Upadeshamrita class, that famous verse of Rupa Goswami, right? Hitashi Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Graya Minjiyai Sevan Muke Jiva Dao Swayameva Spurta Dao, right? That the nature, everything about the Lord, his name, his form, his qualities and pastimes, they are beyond the purview of our senses, right? They're beyond the purview of our senses. And so how can we connect with them? Only through the medium of seva, only through the medium of self-offering. And so, we may not always have the opportunity to offer direct service to the Lord, but we can try to carry ourselves with that type of mood, right? And we are always aspiring, right? Aspiring for the opportunity to serve. And we are trying to, whether directly or indirectly, make our life an offering to the Lord, trying to make ourself, right? Trying to make ourself an offering to the Lord. Sorry, 1 second. So, but developing our mood of hankering and desire and attraction, that's very valuable. This helps us develop lolyam, right? This is what is precious about going on with Shravan, right? Going on with hearing, that we can develop this hunger within us. And that in itself is very valuable, right? I remember once one of our sannyasis, he said, to look at the beauty of Krishna consciousness, and to feel that, oh, I'm far from that and I want that, that is Krishna consciousness. And he said something like that. I liked that very much. In other words, the desire for Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness, right? The hankering for Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness. And actually, at every level that we are at, we will feel that hunger, right? We will feel that hunger. We will feel that desire, right? What I mean is that, even the very advanced devotees, right? They are also feeling that there's, so many higher planes above, right? There are so many higher layers above me. I'm far, right? So whatever stage we're at, whether we are at the lowest stage or whether the highest stage, it is healthy to have that feeling, right? Of that I am separated from that, right? And I think we discussed recently, right, that in the highest expression that manifests as vipralamba, right, as separation from the Lord. Right? So to have that feeling, it's over there, right? And I want it, but I don't have it. It's in the distance, right? We want to cultivate that. And as much as, we can carry ourselves with that mood sincerely, genuinely, we will feel there will be some reciprocation, right? There will be some reciprocation that is felt. It will, within one way or another, right? We will feel that reciprocation in our lives, right? There will be some exchange, some confirmation. The Lord has his ways, right, of making himself known to us. So, and we're also in the waiting game, right? We are trying to live like the chatak birds, right? The chatak birds, they're waiting for those drops of nectar. Right? And I was actually thinking about this a lot today, how that, coming, that part of the culture of surrender is coming to that point of accepting and embracing the fact that we don't have it, and we don't know it, we don't have it. Like it's the way that our like mental system works, right? That we want to feel that we can grasp things, right? We want to be able to feel, I have it here in my hand, I can put it in my pocket, I can count it, right? Or I can look at it, I can touch it. That's how we are wired, right? That's how our material conditioning works. Welcome, Sadhvi and Nazar and Pawan and those who've joined. Happy to have you. And we want to know things, right? We want to understand. But part of surrender is accepting that that's not our jurisdiction, actually. That's Krishna's jurisdiction. And that's part of the process of Sharanagati. That he knows and he has it, or they have it and they know, right? The higher Vaishnavas, they have it. Like Gurudev, he expressed very sweetly once that, I cannot, he's and humbly, he said, I cannot chant the holy name. I'm not qualified. And he said, but my guru can chant. My guru can chant and I'm serving him, right? So that is the feeling, right? That my guardians have that. they have that, and my connection is with them, right? So similarly, I feel that's what makes, hearing all these wonderful things like you mentioned in Golden Volcano of Divine Love and Chaitanya Charitamrita, what like kind of makes us have a real connection is the connection with our guru, right? That I'm not directly connected with that world, but I do have a connection with my guru, right? We have a connection with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and he was connected with that world. He is connected with that world. He brought that world here, made it something tangible and real. So I feel that we can adjust in that way, right? That I'm not a member of that world. I cannot directly participate in that world. But my good fortune is that my guru does have a connection with that plane. He is a part of that plane, and he accepted me, right? I have a real connection with him. That's something solid, right? If we want something solid, that is something solid, right? That is our very good fortune, the connection with our gurus, our divine guardians. Yes, Ramananda Prabhu.
Thank you, Shakaji. I was listening Param Guru my lecture. Actually, he was telling how we have partial understanding of Guru. Because Guru is so vast concepts. Guru is not limited. So Guru Maharaj was explaining we have only very limited or partial understanding of Guru. I listened to Param Guru Maharaj. So he explained everything so nicely. Gurudev also, I don't know. So I'm so attached to Srila Guru Maharaj because he brought me. But I like Gurudev, but I can't understand. The Gurudev also tried to tell, see, Guru is Nityananda ultimately. Guru is Radharani. So many pinpoints, even in Guru. Yeah, I've been reading also Golden Volcano book. Is very nice. I had for many years, but I just couldn't read. It was so kind of bitter for me. And now I can read a little bit something. Thank you so much for your enlightenment, guidance, and nourishment. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
because Guru is very hard to understand. See, maybe you can explain more about Guru Tattva or something. I don't know.
Thank you, Ramananda Prabhu.
Well, you
And
spend a lot of time with Gurudev in Navadvip. I did spend some time here with Gurudev, but it was just so chaotic, so crazy. I try to serve. It's a different here in West.
it's natural that everyone
Yeah,
will
please go
have
on.
more affinity for different Vaishnavas, and so some may feel more connected with Srila Govinda Maharaj, others with Srila Sridhar Maharaj or Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, or others with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or other Vaishnavas also. So that's a normal thing. But also Kirtida Didi, another thing that's coming to my mind is that we cannot underestimate the power of simply to go on hearing, right? That is something that is repeated in many places in the scriptures and by our gurus, right? That we may not be able to understand or tangibly feel or experience or realize many things, but to simply go on hearing them, right? To, exposing ourselves to that vibration, that is so powerful. That is so powerful, right? There's a place in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Kaviraj Goswami himself, he mentioned this, that whether or not you can understand everything I'm saying, just go on hearing, right? just hearing these words, that has its own potency, right? To hear them with faith. So, and I think also that that in itself, that's something very, very powerful and pure, right? That I'm not expecting to have like instant gratification or instant experience, instant sense gratification and direct participation, but I'm just satisfied in my distant place to be able to continue hearing. I'm satisfied by that. There's something very surrendered and very humble and selfless in that spirit. And there's a place Srila Maharaj, Srila Maharaj is discussing this verse. And I'm sure some of you here remember that verse. I can't remember right now. But it's a well-known verse. It's spoken by the Lord, and he's saying that, I don't live in Vaikuntha. I'm how does the verse go? Madbhakta yachagayanti. He's saying like where my devotees are sitting and chanting my glories, that is where I am, right? Let me see if I can find that verse. Um, Madbhakta Jayanti. Oh, Yatra Tishtami Narada. Oh, that's it. Naham Tishtami Vaikunte. That's it. Naham Tishtami Vaikunte. Yoginam Hridayena va Madbhakta Yatra Gayanti Tata Tishtami Narada. That's it. Where the Lord's saying, he's speaking to Narada, and he says, I don't live in Vaikuntha, I don't live in the hearts of the yogis, but where my devotees are singing and singing, are sitting and singing my glories, that's where I can be really found. And so Srila Maharaj gives this very beautiful explanation of that verse, saying that there's something that's uniquely special and potent about this, that attracts the Lord in a very special way, this process of connecting with him through hearing, because there's this deep selflessness there. It's not that you're like having direct exchange with the Lord and directly in the Lord's abode, and there's some more direct experience there and fulfillment. But it's that simply in a distant place you're happily hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. There's something very deeply selfless about that, which captures the Lord's heart and which makes him even more present because of that. He runs towards that. And so, we also have that type of opportunity, right? That, oh, my Lord Krishna, oh, Mahaprabhu, I'm so far from you. My mind, my senses, my ego, my karma, they've all taken me very far away. And yet I am satisfied just to be able to go on hearing your pastimes. I'm not qualified to directly enter them, but in my humble place, I'm just sitting and remembering and listening and chanting those wonderful glories, right? There's something very, very powerful in that type of pure-hearted and selfless sentiment that it is very attractive to the Lord. And so we're able to position ourselves in that type of mood of surrender. Osadvi is asking about the verse. Yeah, let me find it. It's quite a well-known verse. I'll find it. Aham tishtami vaikunte yoginam. Here it is. It's in the Padma Purana. I'll put it in our chat here. And Yeah, I'm trying to find a clear translation, but anyhow, you can find it, I'm sure. Um, so yeah, that's our advice. That's the advice that's given to us, right? Go on hearing. Go on hearing. And keep developing your affinity and appreciation and attraction for those wonderful things. The only danger is when we start if we start to imagine, right, that or to forcefully try and be a part of that, which happens, right? There are practitioners who do that. So it's very healthy for us to feel that, perceive that separation, right? That it's over there and I want it, right? I'm not there, but I want it. That's the healthy, wholesome place to be. And then you also mentioned about emotion and devotion, right? And I'm not sure I fully understand what you're saying, but I what came to mind was that, yes, emotion also has its divine expression, right? That, I mean, at the end of the day, many things are just about how you choose to define words, right? And so it just depends on how these words are being used, right? So emotion can be used in the material sense, but it also has its divine expression, right? And that word is bhav, right? Bhav means divine emotion, right? Spiritual emotion, spiritual feeling. So yes, ultimately that is that's a very wonderful thing. That is actually Srimati Radharani's wealth, right? The feeling. And, we hear this explanation of these three aspects of the spiritual energy, right? Of thinking, feeling, willing, right? That, and this is also connected with Sat Chit and Ananda, right? Hladini, Sandini, Samvit, right? These three potencies, the three aspects of the spiritual energy. And so Srimati Radharani, she's that department of feeling, and Ananda, right? Joy. That is her. She is the expression of that in its most concentrated form. So Krishna is representing consciousness, the thinking aspect. And then Baladev is representing the willing, the strength aspect, the being aspect, and then existence aspect. And then Radharani is representing feeling, heart, love, emotion, joy, all of these things, right? And so, yes, of course, feeling has its higher expression. And we can also remember, right, that ultimately this this is a phrase that Srila Prabhupada uses in his rhetoric a lot, right? That this world is like a perverted reflection, right, of the spiritual world. And so it's really quite an interesting thought, right? That everything that you see in this world, it all has its origin, right? It all has its spiritual expression. It's just misplaced, like basically we're lacking context. That's like the main issue, that we're lacking context. There's no proper framework for our feelings, right? By which I mean, like, there are so many wholesome and wonderful things in this world, and feelings and exchanges, desires, but they're just like misdirected, lacking proper reference point, right? So like the feeling of love, different types of love, right? Feeling of family, right? All of these things are actually normal, wholesome, and happy things, but the problem is when we limit them, actually, when we want to limit them to our tiny sphere of self-centered ego. That is the problem. And all of these feelings and desires, which are actually normal and healthy and wholesome, they get filtered through our limited material constructs, right? Restricted by our conceptions of I, me, and mine, extended selfishness, right? So we can remember that too, right? Everything in this world, it has its beautiful and original position and nature, right? And so, yes, a lot of the time we use emotion in a negative sense, but that's in a particular context, right? And actually, in its original spiritual expression, emotion is the most wonderful thing. Emotion is the best. Emotion is what we want to have, divine emotion, bhav, divine feeling. But because we are not in our pure state, right? Because we are, as we say, conditioned souls, right? We're not in our unaltered natural spiritual position. Then we have to be a little wary, right? We have to be a little careful about feelings because we don't know where they're coming from, right? And so we are cautious about such things, right? Don't be emotional, they say. Gangrena says, yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? It's a tricky world to navigate because, and I think the main thing is that we need to have context, right? It's like yeah, have therapy, yeah, sit with your emotions, yeah, process your emotions, yes, read the self-help book, right? Have your heart to heart with your friends and work your emotions out. Like all of that, that can be helpful for us, but we just have to keep that in context, right? Like we understand that these things are part of our world of human emotion, right? And we are human and we have our human issues and so on, and we can't pretend that we don't have those things, right? Nowadays people like that, use that phrase, right? Spiritual bypassing sometimes. So that's not helpful, right? But it's just about putting things in context, right? Like understanding, like this emotion I'm having now, this is a part of my human experience, and this is something categorically different from emotion of the divine plane and the type of spiritual emotion that I aspire to have, right? That I aspire to awaken, right? So understanding, having proper reference points, having proper context, that's all very, very helpful and important. And then the third point you mentioned was about the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. I have here this picture from Eka Chakra. This was Gurudev's favorite favorite deity of Nityananda Prabhu. I think I can say that. But Gurudev kept this picture on his wall. This is Nityananda Dhameshwar, known as Dhameshwar Nityananda. And this is he's worshipped at Nityananda's birthplace in Ekachakra. And I believe this is the same deity that Srila Sridhar Maharaj prayed to, when he went to Ekachakra on that occasion, when he was, when he received that instruction, right, to distribute mercy, right? That, how Srila Sridhar Maharaj came asking for mercy, and Nityananda told him, what is this? You've already received so much mercy, you have to distribute that. So yes, that the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, that is our great hope, right? That is our hope. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami has that chapter. It's chapter 5, and in the Adi Leela, and in the last section of that chapter, there are these very moving verses, right, where he's speaking about how the first part of the chapter is a little more like philosophical, a little more heavy going, and well, for some anyway. And then towards the end, he kind of switches to this more personal tone, and he's telling his own story, how he received the mercy of Nityananda, and speaking about how extraordinarily merciful he is. And there's that one verse, Uttam Adam Kichu Nakore Vichar, that praying, that's it, Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar, Uttam Adam Kichu Nakore Vichar, that he is so intoxicated by divine love, he is not discriminating between who is high, who is low, who is qualified, who is unqualified. And so he's giving to all. He's giving mercy to all. He is the embodiment of mercy. So we are very blessed, as Gurudev said, that we've simply heard the name of Nityananda. We are very fortunate for that. It's all very, like very refined, right? That, I feel like, coming in connection with our gurus, they've given us a very close understanding, right, of what is the nature of the supreme reality, right? By which I mean to say, there may be a larger group who worship Radha and Krishna, and then there's a narrower group who are also appreciating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who really gives us the key, right, to be able to connect with the Leela of Radha and Krishna. But then there's a more narrow group, who come to understand, but to get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, you need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And we as many of you know, a group of us were in Ekachakra not so long ago, right, the birthplace of Nityananda, and we got to be there for Nityananda's appearance day, right, his Avirbhav, which was a grand festival day. But still, I was surprised that it still was not that big. I mean, if you compare with Gaur Purnima, right? Gaur Purnima Navadvip, it's a huge event, right? There's hundreds of different temples, all running celebrations and doing the parikrama, and it's a huge event, right? But in Ekachakra is like it's really like a little village. I mean, you can walk from one end to the other in like 20 minutes, And of course, I mean, there must have been a couple thousand there, but not that many, you know. And I was quite surprised, and it made me feel like, oh, like actually, you know, it's really like a closer, more family connection to have appreciation for who is Nityananda. So he, you know, by his grace, we will get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we get the mercy of Radha and Krishna. Right. So, you know, by the grace of our gurus, we're very blessed, right? That we've been given some understanding of how valuable, how precious, how indispensable is the grace of Nityananda Prabhu in our spiritual life. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, right? He, as the ultimate proof of that, right? We hear from Srila Govinda Maharaj that in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's last days, he was always chanting Dayal Nitai, right? Doyal Nitai. He was always chanting Doyal Nitai, merciful Nitai, and eventually he even stopped chanting his japa, and we hear someone like asked him, "Oh, do you want your mala?" Because normally he would always be chanting on his mala, right? The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but previously he was always chanting. But then in the last phase, he stopped. And so we hear on one occasion, one personal servitor was offering, "Oh, can I bring you your mala?" And he said, "Oh, you can give my mala to Govinda Maharaj. You know, my only hope is Doya Nitai. That is my only hope." And so he, as Gurudev said, you know, he was showing us the line, right? Showing us the mood that we want to cultivate. So, and you know, in our life of practice, you know, there will be times when all of these things feel more close to us, right? And there will be other times when these things feel more distant to us. And you know, our daily lives in this world may be consumed with so many different things, right? You know, work, family, responsibilities, health, and finances, right? All of these things, they may press upon us more or less at different times. But we're trying to hold tightly on, right? As much as possible. And those moments of grace, you know, they come sometimes, and we feel that higher existence in a more heavy and more weighty way. Those moments will also come. But in one way or another, right, we're continuing to hold space, right? We're continuing to hold space in our hearts and in our lives for that higher reality. We are trying to create a nice space within our heart, within our consciousness. And whether it's in the front of our mind or in the back of our mind, we always want to be calling out, you know, "Oh Mahaprabhu, oh Nityananda Prabhu, oh, you know, please give your mercy to me, you know, please pull me up," right? That's ultimately what we want, right? We want to be pulled up. Please pull me by the hair, please, one way or another. Find your way to forcefully take me to your lotus feet, right? Please bring my attention to you, right? Let my mind, and there are many beautiful prayers by our gurus, right? Comparing our consciousness to a bumblebee, right? That is drinking the honey of the Lord and his pastimes, his associates. So we're praying that we may become like that, you know, that instead of being like flies, attracted to the dirt, we want to be like bumblebees that are attracted to the honey of the Lord and his pastimes. So we are praying like that, you know. Welcome, Devi Shakti Didi. Honored to have you with us today. Well, those are my thoughts. Anything I don't do you think I addressed your points, Kirtida, or do you want to add anything else?
It's so beautiful, everything you said. Thank you, Vishaka.
Oh, thank you for bringing up these topics.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at this verse here. I'm looking in this verse that we have in the chat. This is a place in Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion. I'll just read this excerpt from here. So Naham Tishtami Vaikunte Yoginam Hridayena Cha Madbhakta Yacha Gayanti Tacha Tishtami Narada. The Lord himself says, O Nard, wherever my devotees sing my praises, I cannot but be present there. Naham Tishtami Vaikunte. I do not live in the transcendental plane. Yoginam Hridayena Cha, nor in the heart of a yogi. Madbhakta Yachagayanti. But wherever my devotees sing with most earnest heart, Tacha Tishtami, I present myself there. I take my seat and hear their hearty song. Their singing and chanting carries me from the heart of the yogi and even from the throne of my Vaikunta. I run towards the place where the devotees chant with hearty devotion about me. That is what really attracts me most. Narayan himself says this. Therefore, it is so that Narayan and his higher devotees come to attend such assemblies. All right. Well, anyone have any other comments to share or anything at all before we close for today? Well, we still have a few minutes. Oh, Ramananda Prabhu, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I have been reading Divine Guidance.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Gurudev question answer, I like that. Yeah. I didn't know many things, but their letters and stuff. And Gurudev asked, answering different questions.
Yeah, there's some real treasures in that book, Divine Guidance. I do feel it's like a hidden treasure in our mat. Some really beautiful lectures of Gurudev.
Yeah, we are all so fortunate. We are like a PhD students. That's why Gurudev mentioned, if we are students, we always shall be students. I go other places, I can feel it. Because I have to travel, I go different temples, different places. That way I know what I have. Like, I don't know, sometimes I feel kind of, I don't know, it's scared, but I know Gurudev is with me. Gurudev told me I'm always with you. So I try to remember. When Acharya Maharaj told I'm always with you. So I go other places. And Param Guru might say lower energy will try to catch you. So I feel they're trying to, but now they stay away. Yeah, they are more respectful actually. They are kind now. Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, I try to preach. Even Prabhupada said, also preach wherever you go. Mahaprabhu said, preach,
Mm.
save this word. So I don't know. I try as much as I can. You give a lot of encouragement and guidance. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I know you're always trying to share the message wherever you go, Ramananda Prabhu. And yes, and as much as we are trying to give our heart, our faith to our gurus, so much they are reciprocating and so much they are with us. I remember something Yudamanyu Prabhu told me that Gurudev said to him, because Yudamanyu Prabhu was preaching in China, which was amazing service, right? In Red China, very courageously, and Gurudev said to him once, never think that you are alone. I am with you. Guru Maharaj is with you. Swami Maharaj is with you. You are never alone. And of course, he said that to Yudamanyu Prabhu, but it is also something that applies to everyone, right? That as much as we are remembering them and trying to give ourselves to our guardians, they are also with us. They're also responding to us. And we will feel that in our lives. Well, we still have a few minutes. Maybe we can close with one verse of Prapana Jivanamrita. Will I open to this chapter, Acceptance of the Favorable? We can read maybe a verse or two from here. Krishna Karsnaga Sadbhakti Prapanatvanukulake Krityatva Nishtayaschanu Kulya Sankalpa Uchyate. This is Srila Sridhar Maharaj's opening verse for the chapter. Everything should be done that encourages the service of Sri Krishna and his devotee, and whatever is conducive to the state of exclusive surrender must be executed. Such a firm conviction is called anukulyasya sankalpa, acceptance of the favorable. Well, I think that's a very nice meditation to end on. Everything should be done that encourages the service of Sri Krishna and his devotee, and whatever is conducive to the state of exclusive surrender must be executed. Such a firm conviction is called anukulyasya sankalpa, acceptance of the favorable. And this word, there are certain words in Sanskrit, they just don't translate very well, right? And Suvasini Didi couldn't join us today, but I've discussed this with her, and this word sankalpa, that's the Sanskrit. Anukul means what is favorable, and then sankalpas mean translated as accepting, right? So this limb of surrender, accepting the favorable. But actually, this word sankalpa in Sanskrit has a much stronger meaning. It means they actually use that word when you're making vows or making some strong affirmation to the Lord that that yes, I will do this, maybe a vow is a little too strong, but more like that, right? That a conviction, confirmation, that assertion that yes, I will do this, right? The sankalpa is more like that. It's this very strong spirit, right? Strong can resolve. Oh, that's very nice, Gangalila. Wow, fantastic. Very nice, very nice. Yes, like resolve. It's a resolve, exactly. That's probably the perfect translation. That this shall be done, right? This shall be done. So with that's the type of spirit and confidence, right, that we want to develop. That type of faith that yes, whatever is supporting my connection with the Lord and his devotees and my devotional development, that I shall do, that I will do. So I think that's a nice meditation to end on today. And then, of course, the other side of that coin is the resolve to reject, right, that which is not favorable. That's the other side. Okay, well, maybe we'll stop here for today. So happy to be able to connect with all of you in our virtual world here. Thank you all for your good company. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees, sincere seekers Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.
Okay.
See you all next
Hari
time.
Bol.
Viva.